And anyway, you did make it to the town of Cassomir.
Isn't that like a huge city?
Yes.
You make your way to the small, tiny hamlet of New York.
Well, it is a major port city, being right there on the edge of the,
Like I said, New York.
truly, just like New York. Being at the mouth of the Sellen River, it has considerable power as a trade city between the inner sea and the inland nations. Um, it's surrounded by the Blackwood Swamp. Um,
Is it entirely surrounded by the Blackwood Swamp, or is the Brownwood Swamp taken a part of the border?
Actually, half of it's the Blackwood Swamp, and the other half is the ocean there. And you know from up to this point that Lowls bargained your memories to the Mad Poet in exchange for information on how to find Nezaran, the ancient ruined alien city. Um, you know that the Mad Poet told Lowls that, he could find the city's location written down in the pages of the Necronomicon. And you know that with this knowledge, Lowls returned from the Dreamlands and headed south to begin his quest. Um, and you know that give me a second here. I was doing some Fantasy Grounds housekeeping, and I deleted one module too many.
Uh-oh.
So, yes, well, I have it backed up, but the last book is no longer on my hard drive.
We're encountering some technical difficulties.
You do know that Lowls met with an alchemist um, by the name of Miacknian Mun, and I'm going to throw that Cknian. And truly, that's your only clue to where he was going in Cassomir or his plans afterwards. And right before, just as a reminder, when you met with the Mad Poet and were having your visions, your memories returned and seeing visions, you got a telepathic message, telling you to wake up and that you are now free. But to remain so, you must find me. So you are receiving messages, whispers from beyond.
Sorry. Where and what did we learn about Miacknian Mun? Because I mean, I thought all we heard was that he was going to the Mysterium in Cathir, find the real Necronomicon. How did I miss the name Miacknian Mun earlier?
So they could be brought doing so. The king. Okay. Okay, this goes back a little bit. It would have been information that you found within Iris Hill.
Oh wow, still going way the hell back now. Hang on, let me check my earlier notes. Though.
Yeah.
Yes, in fact, I do have that name.
And you know that Mun is an old colleague and an associate of Lowls.
So he's probably bad news.
It could be. You do know that Mun's laboratory is in the southern part of the town, in a district called the Admiral's Fen, F-E-N.
Charming.
Okay, when you all do pull into port and so forth, you still have a reward to collect.
Wait, we do? Did we? I thought we already got the money and did all the shopping in the port.
I'll take your word for it, because that sounds...
Does anyone else remember? It's been several weeks.
Yeah, I'm thinking you did go shopping.
I remember something about upgrading my shit, yes. Oh yeah, because we were trying to figure out how to do the Ring of the Ram, which I think would probably actually need an entirely separate character sheet for the Ram.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and we cleared out the party sheet as well. So, anyway, since you don't have to worry about collecting the reward...
And we would have gotten the reward at the same time that the other guy found about all his docking fees being waived, right? For
Yes.
The halfling captain. Forget her name right this second, but...
Skywin.
Skywin, there we go.
Is she someone that you would talk to about what you're planning to do once you get to town?
I don't know, is she?
Well, I mean, as far as I can tell, right, she's been like straight up with us and straightforward. I mean, I have quite a good sense of motive. I've never detected or had a bad feeling about her, right?
No, you have not.
So I'm kind of inclined to say we probably would say something to her at this point, because we just, I mean, I know about the town from like general knowledge, but I'm not going to necessarily know. I mean, I know everything, but laying that aside, you know, we may be helpful to talk to her about this. Does anyone have any objections? And not even saying all of the details, just a broad overview of saying like we're trying to find a book in the magisterium and that kind of thing.
Not particularly.
Okay, she really can't help you where the Necronomicon and the Mysterium are. However,
Thanks, Skywin.
she can probably help you locate
Maickian Mun.
Mr. Mun. Yes,
No, you have to say his full name every time you
Miacknian.
started this.
And she can ask the harbormaster. You know, not necessarily a friend, but the two of them have been, you know, friendly towards one another. And she suggests that you seek out a gnome by the name of Ethem Baler. He is actually responsible for designing her ship. And he knows a lot of people, and could probably help you locate it. Him.
Okay, well, what do you guys want to do? Do you want to follow up on that? Do you want to try to see what I can find out about the city in general and go to the Mysterium? Like, what do you think our plan of attack here should be?
I'm not picky. I gotta be honest, I'm pretty confused by all the names and stuff that's getting... Is this... Like, I'm not taking as good a notes as you are, let's put it like that. So I'm kind of like, who's that guy again? What's that? What? Alright, fine. Fuck it, I'll just kind of follow along. Hope I don't hurt myself.
Yeah.
So at this point, I'm okay with you taking the lead.
Okay. Sure, if that's being floated, we can investigate that first, and then we can always have other fallback plans available right now.
She does say that if you're going in search of Ethem, that you probably want to check out his favorite tavern in town.
Okay.
And she'll ask the harbor master as well. Okay,
I mean, how long is it going to take her to ask the harbor master?
well, you know, she can go now. Figure maybe 15, 20 minutes.
That seems better than trying to traipse across town trying to find this guy's favorite bar, right?
Absolutely, but you can probably get really good directions to the bar.
How far away is the bar then?
10-minute walk.
Okay, sure. Let's go check out the bar while Skywin's asking the harbormaster.
Okay. Okay. You know, you ask around on the dock, and they give you directions to the Sceptered House. And
That's his favorite place, the Sceptered House.
yes. Well, and just by asking for directions and so forth, you also learn that it's not necessarily the headquarters, but it is a favorite hangout of the esoteric Knights of Evolvement.
Knights of Involvement.
Yeah, I know you're gonna make your roll. They are a group of 13 like-minded individuals. They are not warriors. They are made up of variously well-connected master alchemists, engineers, shipbuilders, and socialites. And they all dabble in the esoteric in order to make their lives more interesting.
How are we defining interesting in this context?
I have no idea.
Okay. Okay, so there are 13 knights who aren't actually knights, and in fact some of them are just socialites.
Correct.
And they like their lives to be interesting.
Yes. And they're shipbuilders and alchemists and so
Is it an evolvement? Is that correct, or involvement? It's actually evolvement?
evolvement.
Interesting. Okay.
And you find the Sceptered House, and it's one of the more exclusive ends of the city. There are as you walk in, like I said, it's one of the more exclusive places, and as you walk in, you do find several people that are in there, and one of them is sitting over in a corner, and he's quiet, and he's looking through all these large sheets of paper, and you can tell that he is looking at blueprints.
That is a messed up looking dude.
Yes.
Can I tell what he is?
You can tell that he's a bleachling gnome.
Like Michael Jackson.
Exactly. And
Okay, and so remind me,
um,
what exactly did Skywin think Ethem could do for us at the Sceptered House? As a shipbuilder or something? What connections was he supposed to have again?
other than the fact that he's well connected and probably
Okay,
knows everyone in town.
So basically just go talk to him and see if we can find Man or the Mysterium from that.
Right. And
Okay.
the bleaching is when the gnomes leave their home plane. And it pretty much bleaches them.
Whoa! Did you guys see that coming? That was a twist right there.
And due to the effects of the bleaching, a gnome's age is not tied to the passing of time. Instead, every year that a gnome lives without experiencing new wonders takes a toll on their physiology, and it causes them to age noticeably. So you gotta have an adventure once a year or you get old.
Interesting.
But yes, he's sitting over there. You can tell that, you know, he's had a couple of drinks, but he's really intense and staring over all these blueprints and notes about this ship.
I mean, it's not the Skywin ship, right? It's just some other ship that he's looking at.
Right. However, he is the one that designed Skywin ship.
Okay. So, presumably we go over there. Do we notice anything else in the room that strikes our fancy?
It's just a really nice tavern.
And we would have had some kind of description from Skywin of what the guy looked like.
Yes. You know, go look for the Michael Jackson of gnomes.
Okay, well, how big of a table is he sitting at? Is he sitting in a booth? What's he sitting at?
He's sitting in a booth.
Alright. I'll go and, mosey on over there with presumably Sith and Poppy following, unless Poppy's busy getting drunk at the bar again, and then in which case we're all about to be thrown out again.
No, I'm following.
Okay. And, I'll just, dexterously sidle into the seat next to him and said, yes, Skywin said we might find you here.
Excuse me, you are who?
associate of Skywin. My name's Eric. We've been traveling with her the past 2 months, and she had some good things to say about you and suggested we meet you.
Oh, well, how is the condition of the Sellen Starling?
Excellent, actually. Just made another passage through the Sellen Passage.
I'm quite sure it did. I oversaw its construction, and I designed it.
That's what I heard. What can you tell us about that? Sounds like it was quite special.
Tell you what, why don't you make a knowledge check?
Okay, what type of knowledge?
Geography, I guess.
Alright.
That would be...
So I get a 22 total. You ignore the rule. So 22 on geography.
Okay. You ignited a passion within this gnome, and asking about the ship, he tells you more than you ever possibly wanted to know about that ship.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's not possible, okay? Like, my character would never have more than you could possibly want to know. Okay?
So we'll jump ahead 4 hours.
I assume Poppy and Sith at some point decide to get a drink.
No kidding. But anyway, you talk to him, and you make an educated guess about what to say to him, and most times you sound like you know what you're talking, and you pretty much get inside of him. Becoming
Whoa. He hasn't even bought me a drink yet, okay?
Become, you two are becoming buddies. And through it, you know that he tells you that he is the chief shipwright of the Imperial Naval Yards. So, he's kind of important and kind of a big deal. But he does love to talk about ships.
Excellent, and, I asked his opinions on... I mentioned some of the other ships we found, like the Razmiran vessels and stuff, and asked his opinions on those.
Oh, and he gladly gives them. The Razmiran vessels are not as good as the ones that he builds.
So eventually, presumably, after we get done talking about ships for quite a length of time, and, maybe actually at some point it would be kind of us to have Sith or Poppy go tell Skywin that we found the guy. Skywin's not sitting there like, where did the guys go?
Well, she does have other things to keep her busy. It's not like she's waiting for the great Eric Kell.
Wow, hang on. I take a point of ego damage. Okay, so eventually as we ship talk winds down, I mentioned that one of the reason we started sailing with Skywin in the first place on the most excellent ship that he built was that we were trying to find a tome that apparently was held by the Mysterium here in this city.
Yeah, he's like, you know, it's just down the street. Wait.
Did you just say wait?
Yes, let me...
Okay.
Okay, the Mysterium itself is in Katir.
And where are we?
N-K-T-H-E-R.
Are we in Cassomir right now?
Yes, you are in Cassomir.
Okay, so we're in Cassomir, where the guy named Mr. Man is, right?
Right.
With my knowledge of geography, you know, again, like 22 without needing to roll, taking 10. Where's Kathir from Cassomir?
Month-long journey on a boat by river.
I mean, because Mr. Mun, we were told, right, that Maicknian Mun can translate the book if we recover it. But if we recover it, you know, that apparently involves us going to another city, then coming back here with the book. They might not like us taking the book in the first place, let alone leaving the city with it.
That's true. To answer your question, it is southeast. Let's say 500 miles. It's another boat trip.
Yay.
So
I was right.
yes, apparently, so this was right.
Yay, Sith.
So the voice that said to remain free you must find me, it didn't actually mention where it was, right?
Or who it was.
So for all we know, this voice may be coming from someone in Kathir, so that begs the question that I'm trying to figure out right now. Besides the fact that we needed to stop here at the port city, and maybe, I guess, talking to Mr. Man, I don't even know if that's too useful, because again, are we really going to say get the book from here, then go to the other city, the 500 miles away, somehow get the book that's incredibly value, allow them to take it, convince them to let us take it in the first place, then take it 500 miles away to this guy to translate, because he can translate and apparently I can't, despite reading them Nancodic, or how are those called? Penodic manuscripts?
Right. Well,
Like, I'm just trying to figure out, is there any point of us even being in the town right now, or should we just be booking passage?
well, you know, Lowls went to see him. Him and Lowls are friends, you know. Lowls may still be in town. You don't know that. You just know that Lowls is ahead of you.
Okay. So, I'll ask our dear friend who's, you know, eager for new and exciting experiences, that, you know, we're trying to chase down a renegade nobleman from our section of the world, and ask him if if there's careful. As I said, I assume that, you know, there's careful records kept of people entering and leaving town on ships and stuff, right? You know, say car passenger manifests and all that.
Most likely.
So maybe we can, you know, he has some ideas of who we might go and talk to try to see if Lowls has even arrived yet, or anything matching that. And see if anything. How much traffic would there be from here to Kathir? Is it a common trip?
Yeah, it would be.
Alright, it's not like it stand out.
Yeah, Katir is a metropolis.
And this is also a metropolis?
Uh, yeah, Katir is probably 4 times larger.
Okay, so this is a port, but it's not a huge, massive metropolis.
Well, you're looking at 32,000 people in Cassomir. Katir is like 145,000.
Okay, then.
Um, you know, he's like, if you're looking for passenger manifest, you know, you really need to go talk to the harbormaster.
Well, then I'll idly ask, have you ever heard of a man named Miacknian Mun? A man?
You want to roll a diplomacy?
31?
Uh, yes, he is, I know him.
What do you know about him, if you don't mind me asking?
Um, that he is an absolute alchemical genius. Um, However, sometimes his experiments are off-putting and shunned by uh, the establishment.
With the 33, am I sensing any kind of, like, deceit or anything here? And just as a general check as well, which I automatically, I automatically succeed at a general sense motive check, which is DC 20 as a hunch. So basically, basically once you spend at least a minute like talking to someone, you can generally get a hunch of what's going on. Whether you might not be sure what might be wrong, but you can get like a spider sense tingling, right? If
Right.
something odd is going on. So in general, has that tingled at all here?
Yeah. No, the gnome is not causing you to tingle.
Okay, at least not in that way. And then, so with his statement about Mr. Man, am I sensing any like deceit there?
No. He does say, you know, it's kind of sad that he's had to start sleeping behind bars in order to keep ignorant and upset people out of his lab.
So judging by that phrase and my general hunch, it sounds like he generally does approve of Mr. Man.
He is. He respects him, but may not necessarily agree with him. You know, it's a completely different line of work that the two are in. And, you know, he's just basically saying that some of Mun's peers have problems with the way he does the experiments.
That seems to be unfortunate that he's having to sleep behind bars. What's he doing that has got people riled up so?
Just 1 second. He really doesn't go into detail. It's just that, sometimes people don't like the way he does his research.
What do you make of it?
Well, you know, a concern that I have is the fact that, he's had a number of visitors over the past year, and people see him come in, but they never see him leave. And, it's just quite odd.
Alchemist and nobleman enter, one alchemist leaves.
Well, perhaps they left at night, but, no one saw them leave. And it's been a lot of people over the year.
I mean, what does a lot of people in this case mean? Half a dozen, a few dozen, hundreds?
A few dozen.
That does sound curious. You think maybe we can try to talk to him?
Yeah, you sure can.
Are you able to point us in the right direction?
Yes, he gives you, directions, and, he tells you, that he had purchased an old infirmary and has made it into his laboratory.
Of course he has.
And let's see.
And on a general note, did we ever hear if man had a specific title? Because it sounded like he was shunned by the other alchemists. So he's not like the head alchemist of the society or something, right? Not like this guy is the chief shipwright.
Correct. Yeah, Mun is something different altogether. Um, yeah, he is known as a generous benefactor. Um, he tirelessly works to enhance the shipbuilding process through his alchemy. Few people beyond his close circle of friends and a handful of officials know where he lives. Um,
1 second, baby.
since Eric's went away, do you mind if we take 5 here, guys?
Sure, that'd be great.
Fine with me.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just realized that I had let the temperature in here drop down